Hey guys, just wanted to record a quick video on two trades I took this morning on GER40. Really good trades, and I caught them quite early in the morning as well, around about 6:30. I was up around about 5:30 this morning, so I always tend to do a morning scan of the charts. Now, GER40 was not actually on watch for me, but I'd realised I hadn't looked at any indices all week, which I usually do. Is actually a part of my routine. So this morning, as it happened, I did a quick forecast on GER40, and it was quite interesting what I was seeing. So just looking at the weekly overall, if you look at all of this price action here, you can clearly see that it's trending to the upside as well. And the most recent leg was this big break to the upside, which actually helped it achieve its all-time high. And then we've now got this sideways price action here on the weekly. So how did I come about shorts? Let's go into it. You would actually imagine here that you go for longs. Now on the daily time frame, we can see this most recent high where we had volume before. So if we just look over here, we had the high and then price started to push down. Now on the daily, you can see it's not solid impulsive price action. It's fairly corrective. However, price did come down and eventually tap into this wick on the left. So the daily wick here was filled on the left. Price broke through. We've got clear signal and confirmation price action back to the top. And as price started working its way up, we saw the 1, 2, 3, and you've seen that I've alluded to this in my previous videos as well on how price actually moves in waves. So we saw the 1, 2, 3 move into the upside, and here on the area of volume that I have marked out, we can see that price tapped into this area here before pushing down. Now, there's nothing impulsive about the current price action. It's just all sideways and correcting. But how do we get more granular? If we go down to the intraday, if I go down to the 4 hour, now this is what I was looking at here, and I love these structures. So we've got this hook point on the left. Now price moved down at this point here, and then eventually made its way back up to tap into this area and then move down in a 1, 2, 3. But let me mark that out for you. So the point that I'm talking about is, if I just grab the brush tool here, price came back to this area, this moved down in a 1, 2, 3, and then again we can see price move back up in a 1, 2, 3. So we can see two waves already being achieved there. And if I just mark out the low over here on the 4 hour, this is where the wick just pierced through ever so slightly. But what was more interesting here, which gives extra weight to the trade as well and increases the probability, is this middle section. So, when we have middle sections, and then the last leg being a 1, 2, 3, I am then going to look at any rejections at the top, which we can see right over here. Price started to reject here. We see exhaustion in this area before the bearish momentum started to kick in there. So if I then I'm going to just replay it back slightly just to here, because my trade was around here. So back on the 4 hour again. Now trade number one thing I can see, let me just go to the 1 hour to mark this out. So on the 1 hour, we can see from this point here, we are starting to form a correction. Okay, and if I just zoom out, and again, reiterating the 1, 2, 3, we can see price moving down, that's phase 1. Then we've got the correction, which is phase 2, and my anticipation was price was going to move down, phase 3. Now, how do I know where price is going to move to? If I use this bar method, so if we measure the size of this impulse here, and then if I take this impulse and place it at the top of the structure, my initial target point was roughly around about here. Okay, but then if I move this bar to the bottom, the second target point was coming down to the ray line, which you see here. So now let me just show you my first entry. And my first entry is this one here. So I placed a limit entry on here, and this was actually done on the 4 hour, by the way. So we'll go back to the 4 hour. Let me just close that, and I just replay that back again. So this rejection candle here on the 4 hour, fantastic structure. I mean, look at this 1, 2, 3. We had 3 drives here. We've got the 1, we've got the 2, we've got the 3. We've got the middle section, and we've got the 1, 2, 3 last leg. It's a very large structure, so I was not going to look at any risk entries at the top. I mean, some traders may have wanted to take this run here and then play that to the downside. For me, that was very high risk. Why was that high risk? Because we could have formed any form of like a bullish correction here. We could have got a bull flag here, and then price moves to the upside, and you're tagged in and you're tagged out. It's a very quick loss, so not worth the risk on that. And what time was that? I mean, for that for me was at 2 a.m. and it was just too early in the morning. I mean, I just don't trade at that time whatsoever. So anyway, we've had this confirmation. Price is moving to the downside. Strong impulsive run here. We've got the correction, and now we're looking for that third leg where we can capitalize on shorts. So I got into this position on the 4 hour. Now, remember, my first anticipation for this was for price to move down roughly around about to here, which would have given me a 4-to-1. So the trade, I entered this trade here. Now, the moment that I entered this trade, I saw it as a 4-hour play, and I thought that's quite heavy weighted confirmation. Do I need to look at lower time frames? And as it happened, when I go down to the 1 hour, you can see the clear rejection on the 1 hour, but even if you have a look at these candles here, look at these, although they are bullish high tests, you can see the wick. So price has attempted to move down, and then finally when we got the rejection, the bearish engulfing, this was the confirmation that price is now going to start to trickle to the downside. But then when I went down to the 5 minute, oh wait, that's the 15, and then we have the 5 minute as well. Let me just show you what I was looking at here. So on here now, price has actually moved down and formed a hook point over here. And if I just play this forward a few candles, and let's see where price, where I found the second entry. Just move that forward a little bit more, and I'm just going to find the second entry that I placed here, which was this one here. So I had marked out a structure like so on the 5 minute, and if I just play one or two more candles out, right there, I was tagged into the second entry at this point here. So now we've got the first entry, we've got this larger 4-hour structure, the 4-hour limit play that I took, which we can again see over here on the 4-hour. There's the 4-hour entry was tagged in, and then we had the 5 minute entry, which I later got into. And then I was managing now on the 1 hour time frame. So what happened next? Now, just before I go into what happened next, now this is where the management game came in. And we also have this low on the left here, where we had a lot of volume to the upside. So although I had the 2 target points further down in this run to fill this whole structure, I did have this point marked out just in case there were any potential reversals that would come from here, which is very likely as well, because there was a lot of volume there previously. So there's a likelihood that price could reject, and we could see an impulsive run to the upside and a turnaround at that point here. So if I go to the 1 hour, and let's play it out a little bit. So I was tagged in on the first hour by 7 o'clock. I've now locked in break even. So I've taken all the risk off the table here now, because we've had bullish momentum to the downside. Next candle, again, now price is really starting to pick up some momentum here, and I thought we could, looking at the momentum that we see, we could have smashed through this area. And if I look at the next hour here, so the next hour pushed down even more. Now this was, what time was this? This was coming up to 9 o'clock. But then if I go to the 15, let's see what happened. Although you see it as a, although you see the close on it, if you look at this wick here, now this is where I could have improved my management game a little bit more. Right here. So the first position, you can see I'd locked in 2% here now. So I had initially locked in break even. Now I've locked in 2%. Why did I lock in 2%? This 15-minute candle here, I locked in 50% of the way because I didn't anticipate that price would come back. And I think this is where there was a room for improvement for me, because what I was looking at initially is price to start to form a correction here. It's been running a little while and it was due a correction, so anything like this around here, then price pushes to the downside, that would have made sense as well. And from a sequence perspective, it looks fairly typical as well. But what I did was, I feel like I locked in slightly early. Now the second position, this was at 3.15 risk reward, and if I just go back a candle, at that point price was here. And this is where I was anticipating another correction. And if you have a look at where this correction is taking place, it's actually below this low here. So the positioning of it was fantastic. Now, if this correction had taken place here, I would have been more on the side of, okay, is price looking to reverse? Or even if it was positioned slightly lower, then we could have potentially, again, I would have had the same thesis that price is looking to continue that run and then fill this price on the left here. So a full continued run to the downside. But unfortunately, at this point here, price tagged me out. So if I just go forward, this is where we saw that wick and I was just tagged out right there. So I'd managed to bank 2% on the first trade, which was the 4-hour limit play, and then the 15-5-minute correction that I took, this one that you see here, we got out for 3.15. So total 5.15% on that risk reward. Very good start to the morning as well. So if I have a look at the 1 hour, I got into the trade at what, 6:30 there or thereabouts, and by 8 o'clock I was out of the trade. It was actually 8:30 if I'm going to be precise. This candle here, yep, 8:30. So I was in the trade for about 2 hours. So it's a pretty good start to the day. I mean, 5% plus within a 2-hour period before I've even started my day. I was quite happy with that. But then let's just have a look at what happened next. Did I make a good decision? Did I make a good decision on locking in price quite low down and aggressively, so to speak? So if I just go back to the 1 hour and let's just play this out and see what happened next. I think I did, because price pulled back quite aggressively here. This would have left me with around about 1% on both trades. So I would have ended up with 2% across the board. And then push back down, and now we see price making its way back up. So there may be some potential longs in here as well, which we will have a look at. But there's my trade. I'll just go back to the 4 hour so you can see it as a snapshot view as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Just let me know if there's any different types of content that you would like me to create. I'd appreciate it if you can drop a like, drop a comment, or a share. And yep, hopefully speak to you guys soon.